Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Man, today we got a few things to talk about, man. It's a crazy time in America, dog. And like, I just honestly, man, sometimes I just be thinking in my mind, like, why? You know? Before we start, man, make sure y'all like, share, comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed, man. I truly do appreciate everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. It's going, every day, it's going up, and I really do appreciate it for real. So today, man, we're gonna talk about, obviously, there's been a lot going on since the assassination of Charlie Kirk from Turning Point, USA. And everybody is talking about this whole situation all across the internet. It's crazy, good, bad, it's getting ugly. And we're going to talk about it. Also, first we're going to get into this. There was a shooting in Evergreen High School. I believe it's in Colorado, and I believe it was following this whole situation. I think it was the same day, if I'm not mistaken, if not the next. But it was very close to when this whole thing happened with Charlie Kirk. And the suspect in that he is no longer with us, and he was a teen also. It's just getting crazy out here, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, you can't even, like, you can't even feel safe just, for your kids going to school now. Like, all types of just nonsense that's going on, and you just wonder, like what's behind this, man? Like, what can make a kid do this? It's just wild, man. But let's get into this story real quick, and then we're gonna get into this whole Charlie Kirk aftermath.
One's Greg Nieto. Greg.
Jeremy, the sheriff's office says there are actually multiple crime scenes both in and outside the school.
The shooter is a juvenile male.
Jefferson County authorities with the task of figuring out why an Evergreen student would open fire on two classmates at lunchtime, killing one.
Obviously, we're going to focus on that suspect's home, his car, his locker, all the things that we need to do to find out more about him and maybe why this happened.
200 law enforcement personnel from around the county racing to the campus at 12:24 p.m. Parents racing to make sure their students are safe. Students like Tyler Guyton, Evergreen High co-student body president, who drives home school spirit everywhere he goes.
My best friend called me, and everything went haywire from there.
Guyton out sick today, but with the pulse of his student population.
Terrified. I mean, this has happened before, and it'll happen again. And, communities like Uvalde or Columbine, or there's a shooting in Platte Canyon that, some of those are near here. Those communities don't forget this.
At a press conference, the sheriff's office says there was no school resource officer on campus at the time.
What I've heard is the funding is an issue, but not by any fault of our own.
Tonight, this tight-knit Evergreen community far from on its own when each other is needed most.
Me and my peers, we have one more year left to be kids. That changed all today.
The sheriff's office adds they did recover a handgun, a revolver belonging, they say, to the suspect, Jeremy. They also add that no law enforcement fired any of their weapons. Jeremy, back to you.
So,
One's Greg Nieto. Greg.
So I'm guessing that this kid, I mean, you just don't really know, man, what some of these kids are going through, man. There's so much pressure being a kid now. Social media and you know YouTube and everybody seems like everybody wants to be famous and and honestly I think and I'm not saying this is pertaining to this specific situation, but like I just believe that you know they're they're teaching these kids a lot of things that's just making them super soft, super sensitive. Everything is hypersensitive now. Like you can no longer just say how you feel about anything anymore. It's basically you're ostracized if you speak your mind nowadays, If you don't agree, if we like Charlie Kirk literally got assassinated for having a difference of opinion from other people. A speculation that had something to do with, trans people or whatever the case may be. They said that a weapon was found. We'll get into all of that. But it's it's so much, bro. And I want to and it's crazy because the this whole left and right thing, like people don't, I say it again and I keep saying it over and over, bro. The bigger picture is they want us to be divided, bro. Listen, no matter what a lot of people have their opinions and views on things. But honestly, bro, the left created a monster, bro. And we've come to a point in the United States of America where every country is really laughing at us, to be honest. Like I've seen videos of people going like in other countries, just pick any one of them, and they're like asking them a simple question like, "What is a woman?" And they're looking at him like, a woman. Like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's he's making a point of this is what's going on in America, basically, where we have gotten to a point where people are pretending to not know what a woman is, what a man is. And now we have all of this other stuff going on with binary and pronouns and all of this. And it's serious to the point where when you know, go get regular documentation from the DMV, they have these types of questions on the paper, like it's everywhere. Like they're bro, like really think about this. Listen, man, what you choose to dress up like is it's your business. With preference of person you want to marry or be with or whatever, that's your business. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is, me personally, people are going to be who they are. You really aren't going to change that. The only thing that could make a person revert back to anything would be them wanting to, because of just life. You know what I mean? Them just going through life, period. Other than that, man, people are going to be with who they want to be with and be who they are. But when my whole thing is, you know, assassinating somebody because they view the world different than you do, or because they're not marching to your narrative, it's crazy, bro. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. And what people just really don't understand is, man, this is bigger than politics, man. This is bigger than Republican and Democrat, even though they play a vital role in all of this. This is bigger than this, man. Because you got to ask yourself why. Why are they doing this now? I'm 36 years old. Growing up, you just never seen this type of shit that's going on today. You just didn't, bro. Like even like as far like comedy, right? Comedy was comedy. You know, people told jokes. Some of them were, you know, like deep jokes, just plain out funny jokes. Some jokes were, you know, uh, 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 like raw. You know what I mean? Like borderline, like on the edge. But at the end of the day, we understood that it was still comedy. To where now people can't even say what they want to say. People can't even be funny how they always have been funny because everybody is sensitive now. And then on top of that, the indoctrination is real, bro. They're literally, listen, bro. It's one thing to put these type of things in, like, come on. The whole homosexuality thing has been around forever. Let's be honest, right? It's been in movies, you know what I'm saying? But now it's not a movie that comes out. It's not a show that comes out without it being in it. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is I always go back to why. Why are we doing this? Why are they doing this? For what? And that's why I say it. The picture is much broader than what we think. And, you know, we out here really fighting a war against, you really fighting a war against the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Because, and we are, so to get off this Colorado shooting thing, so, you know, it's pretty much cut and dry. A kid who was a student there killed another student, injured another one. And I haven't heard anything yet on why, you know, and I believe that the kid took his own life. It's just senseless, bro. Like kids, like to even do that, you have to be in some type of, you know, ill mental state, bro. Like to even wake up and say, I'm going to go to school and I'm going, you know, at that age. And like, and this is just going on, bro. This is becoming like somewhat normal to hear another school shooting. Like, it's getting out of hand, bro. You know, and when it comes to like, you know, I've been hearing people basically saying that Charlie Kirk deserved, you know, he got what he deserved fighting for gun laws and this, that, and the third. What people don't understand is that he was fighting for gun laws in the context of what it was put there for. The right to bear arms was put there for a reason. All of these amendments that were put in place were thought out methodically, and they were put there for a reason. Now, what needs to happen is there needs to be real guidelines and real, you know, tests or regulations, and, you know, everyday people being able to just get, you know, guns. It just, I think, like, you know, just being able for anybody to be able to buy a gun and then, you know, just, I don't know, bro. It's weird, bro. You know, because on one hand, I believe everybody has the right to protect their home. You know what I'm saying? But when it gets into, you know, what's going on in the black community, and, you know, all of these mass shootings that's going on, it's just, I don't know, bro. It's getting out of hand, bro. Like, our country is getting out of control, bro. And I think this is what they want. To be honest, I think this is what they want. They want mass chaos. They want just so much going on. And I don't know. I just always go back to just why. Like, why? For what? And then you could just rack your brain around it, like, forever trying to figure it out. But this shit is much deeper than what we think, people. But let's get into this RJ Talks, man. RJ Talks, I fuck with him, man. Once again, if y'all not subscribed, go subscribe to his channel. Always giving the latest updates on what's going on. But I think, to say this too, I think the biggest reason behind this, because obviously, dog, this dude that did this was a professional, bro. This wasn't no layman, dog. This was a professional. This dude knew what he was doing. He knew how to shoot. He knew all of that. And I don't know, man. I lost my train of thought for a second. Because it's just wild, bro. Just think about this whole thing is like, wow, bro. Like, oh, that's what I was going to say. I think the biggest, when it comes to things like this that happen, even when they try to get Trump, right? I think the biggest thing is them trying to stoke fear into conservatives, if it was the other way around, into liberals or whatever the case may be, just to stoke fear to say this could happen to you. And I think that's what it's really about. You know, they don't want us out here, you know, speaking the truth and having, because it's all Charlie Kirk was doing. And even though he debated liberals, that's what he did. But his ultimate goal was to get people to just have dialogue, to have these important discussions that's going on in America, but also to possibly, if he can, change somebody's outlook on something that they might have not been able to see, you know? But that's not what that's not what they want. You feel me? They want the mass confusion. They want us divided. They want us not coming together on shit. And that's just plain and simple, bro. But let's get into this video with my guy, RG Talks.
And the FBI releasing brand new photos of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, asking for the public's help. Also, new details on the motive released. Republicans in Congress calling for a select committee on left-wing violence, and the sick, twisted reaction to this by a large percentage of the country, folks. We're going to get into it. MSNBC axing Matt Dowd after his commentary yesterday. And who exactly is Matt Dowd? We're going to show you.
Well, from reports and particularly our own correspondents, things are tightening around the man who they think is the assassin. They are trying to catch him.
I'm going to tell you this, bro. They're going to catch this dude. And I'm going to tell you why, bro. We live in 2025, bro. There's Ring doorbell cameras on every door. There's cameras on every corner in every store. You know, and this is what they do. Like, this is what they do, bro. Like, people be sleeping on. See, we used to, you know, the average everyday people that be doing little petty crimes and bullshit. We used to, you know, and they sharked up too, these little detectives in these police stations and stuff like that. But we talking about top of the line, FBI, CIA type level people. Like, this is what they do. The technology they have is crazy. Just like, so I see this person getting caught. Any person who would have done this getting caught. This ain't the 50s no more, dog. Like, you know, this ain't the 50s and the 60s, bro. This dude will get caught. And, hey, it's going to be interesting, man. But the crazy part is most people like this, what they do is once they know that they're caught, they'll probably take their life because this is what they do. And then you don't really know the motives behind it. You don't know if it was any certain people behind it, you know. Like, you won't know, you know. And that's if like, let's just say hypothetically that this wasn't a random and this was actually a professional situation, then the people that are involved, you think they're gonna let him get captured? Just saying, man. You know, so many different variables to this already.
For killing conservative icon Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah yesterday. It's not still been 24 hours, and the FBI is moving quickly now with some details and evidence that they've picked up in the last hour or so. And it's revealing this morning that images of the shooter exist, and you can see those images on your screen right now. If anyone has any information on this person of interest, please contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll get that up on all of our social platforms immediately. Authorities are saying they have been able to track the suspect's movements and have recovered the high-power rifle officials say they believe the shooter used in the attack. The FBI is confident it will be able to catch this person.
The FBI releasing 2 images this morning of the alleged assassin, the person who allegedly shot and killed Charlie Kirk yesterday. The FBI field office in Salt Lake City, Utah, posting these images, calling this man a person of interest in connection with the political assassination. Yes, they used that wording, political assassination, and good, because the mainstream media still isn't calling it that. It's amazing. The FBI offering $100,000 for information leading to this man's arrest. Writing on X this morning, we are asking for the public's help in identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Call 1-800-CALL-FBI. It appears to be a fairly clear photo, 2 photos. Obviously not clear enough, though, or they wouldn't need the public's help. The New York Post sharing another image, an image of the weapon, an imported 30-06 Mauser bolt-action rifle with ammo, they say, engraved with trans and anti-fascist ideology. The same thing that we saw the shooter in the United Healthcare assassination do. Steven Crowder breaking this news first, by the way, and CNN reporting this out, right? Reporting it, but without calling it what it is, refusing to tell their viewers the full truth, saying the ammo instead had cultural engravings. Cultural engravings. I really don't know why they do this. Why not just tell your viewers, your audience, the facts? Everyone knows what's going on. You can learn about it on social media. You'll learn the truth anyways. Prominent Democrats being asked about this yesterday, last night, this morning, and every single one of them, all of them, both citing the event. Most of them bringing up the recent Minnesota attack by Vance Bolter. Remember that nutcase, even though Vance Bolter worked under Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's VP, not remotely the same thing. Representative Seth Moulton, a Democrat, going even further, claiming almost all political violence in this country is committed by the right. You can't make this up. Watch.
Let's be serious about where this violence is coming from. Of extremist violent attacks in America, extremist violent murders, 76% are from right-wing extremists, 4% are from left-wing extremists. I condemn that 4%, but we also need to be honest about, as a nation, about where this violence is coming from. And oh, by the way, it's probably an appropriate time to talk about guns, too. You hear a lot of conservatives saying, hey, the only thing we need to do here is get more guns on the street. That's not going to solve this problem. That's going to make it worse.
You can even tell the CNN anchor getting visually uncomfortable as he's saying this. These people are sick, folks. Charlie is dead. He was an innocent. He wasn't even a politician. His only crime was just speaking his mind in a common sense way, putting out common sense ideas. What we saw yesterday wasn't just a political assassination. It hits deeper, doesn't it? Like somebody shot the First Amendment. This was an attack on our country, and anybody claiming both sidesism is just gaslighting you. The radical left, they commit all the violence here, all the political violence. Remember what happened after George Floyd? What happens after almost every big city police shooting story versus what we're seeing today. Charlie Kirk shot and killed, assassinated over his political views. And what does the right do? They come together peacefully to pray. This photo summing it up, saying it all, people coming together peacefully praying after Charlie's death versus what we saw after George Floyd. And like I said, every other national police shooting story. My
bad to go out, but yo, ain't it so crazy how they, bro, like what? Like, to be honest with you, the only thing that I see is you'll hear Trump say the left is lunatics. You hear him say that a lot, right? But as far as actual physical violence, even when you bring up, their favorite thing to bring up is January 6th. That's their favorite thing to bring up. But only one person got killed, and she was one of the protesters. And she got killed by one of the police. But they bring that up. But people actually died in the whole George Floyd situation. Like, people actually went out, burned the city down, looted stores, all types of shit. Like, that's what they do. Like, they cause division to the point where people go and, like, cause, like, real real violence. Real violence, be burning shit down. Like, it's not even close, bro. So they try to say that the right, and then on top of that, Donald Trump isn't calling, all he calls them is lunatics. Like, they're crazy. But he has a point, right? But they call him a Nazi. They say he's trying to be a dictator, that he's trying to get rid of the Constitution, that he's trying to ruin the democracy. So when you say things like this, people out here aren't just taking this like as, oh, they're just trying to win the election. No, people are taking this serious. Like, this dude like is trying to take over America or something. Like, but the shit that they are doing is crazy. Like, people are literally making videos, and I'm gonna show some of them. Like, they're proud of this. Like, this is crazy. And then they say that the violence is like, who was burning up Teslas? And it didn't matter if you were a Democrat or Republican. If you had a Tesla, they was keying your shit. They was burning it. They was vandalizing it. They, when, like, they took shots at Trump. They just assassinated, like, Charlie Kirk. Who on the left is getting killed? Who maybe wasn't them? I think it was a Democrat lady, and I think it was her husband too. Somebody got killed, but I think it was because, I don't know if it was because, but I heard that it was something around like they didn't vote or do something. I don't know. I forget. It was somebody in Minnesota, I believe. But yeah, they went against the grain and they got killed, but it wasn't by nobody on the right, I don't think. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am.
One side believes in debate, believes in the First Amendment. The
All
other
this
side
shit is
believes in
stupid,
shutting
though.
down debate, stifling freedom of speech. Huge difference. President Trump last night delivering a sorrowful address to the nation and unabashedly calling out the radical left, calling them out for calling conservatives Nazis and fascists, doing that for years, saying it's directly responsible for what happened yesterday. Watch what he said.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Let me know what you think about this. When you hear the reactions from these college students and liberals celebrating Charlie's death, and when asked, why are you happy about it? Their response is, well, he was a Nazi. He was a fascist. It's just infuriating because it's not.
So when they say, so that's the whole point. So when they say that, oh, it's not us, it's the right, and this and that, all this left and right shit, well, none of that even matters. But at the end of the day, he's right. When you talk to any of these people, they all have the same talking points, which goes to show you that they watch the news, they watch the information that's being put out by legacy media, because it's the same talking points. I have yet to talk to somebody who actually, number one, is open-minded to like just having a conversation. Most people that I speak with who don't like Trump, you know, calls him a Nazi, a fascist, and all of this stuff, they don't even want to have a debate, a good one. Now, it doesn't have to be an argument, but a debate. You know what I'm saying? And it's strictly hate. Like, it's hate. Like, people hate Donald Trump. Don't even know him. They don't even know this dude, and you hate him. Like full-blown hate. I want to show I want to see if I can find it, but I want to show this video. I talked about it yesterday. I got to find it. I'm going to try to find it. Let's continue with this video.
Not even true. Charlie Kirk didn't even have extreme views. He had common sense views, common sense takes. There was nothing fascistic about what he would promote. In another story, MSNBC firing Matt Dowd after his horrendously stupid take, saying how hateful words lead to hateful actions, suggesting that Charlie brought this on himself, something like that. MSNBC doing damage control last night, doing the right thing, and axing this guy from their network. Watch this clip. This is what Matt Dowd said yesterday. In the moments, the direct moments right after Charlie was shot, a live take. This is what the guy thought to say live as he was learning about this. Watch.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have.
Bro, get the fuck. What? Bruh. Bro. They gotta stop, bro. This gotta stop, bro. A supporter shooting their gun off in celebration? Bro. Bro, they'll make up anything, bro. They'll make up anything, bro. When they try to assassinate Trump, There was literally a human on the roof with a gun. He literally took off shots. One person died, the guy Corey. And another guy got injured. Like, this person lost his life, and all of these Democrats was out here saying that it was staged. It was staged. That guy's not really dead. It was staged. Like, bro, this shit, yo, they was letting off a gun in celebration, bro. Yo, bro.
No idea about this.
Can't make this
But
shit
following
up,
up
bro.
on what
You
was
can't
just
make
said,
it up,
he's
bro.
been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in.
My whole thing is this.
People just, you can't stop with.
My thing is this. What's the hateful words? What's the hateful words? Like, he literally sets up his little setup. He lets people, anybody. It's not like he's choosing people that you right there. I want to debate you. No, people have an opportunity. They choose to go up there and debate Charlie Kirk on their views. Always respectful, never hateful, never like arguing, none of that. Just literally debating. What hate speech? What hate speech is he like him just so at the end of the day, anybody that does, like, I'm not a homosexual. I'm straight. I got a fiance. I got kids. That's me. Does that make me hate? Is that hate speech? Because I'm not a homosexual? Like, because somebody doesn't view life in the same lens that you do, then everything that they say is hate? What? Bro, like, bro. They say anything, bro. Bro. This shit. We in a wicked time, bro. We in it. This shit is
Sort of
it's sad,
awful
bro.
thoughts
It really
you have,
is,
and then
bro.
saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
What that guy said was completely inappropriate. And look, let's not forget who Matt Dowd is. This is important. Matt Dowd, not some liberal commentator. I saw people saying that on X yesterday. Matt Dowd is a Bush-era Republican. He's a Republican, one of those older school Republicans, the anti-Trump Republicans. He was one of President Bush's top political strategists for years. These are the people who lost their power under the Donald Trump movement, and they're irrelevant now. And they're pissed off about it. The old guard of the Republican Party has just been cast aside, neutered in large part, thanks to Charlie Kirk's TPU. MSNBC releasing a statement this morning that Matt Dowd, a paid political analyst, is no longer with their network. MSNBC's president, Rebecca Cutler, posting an online apology, writing, Dowd's commentary was inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable, and untrue. Charlie's never said a hateful thing. Prove me wrong on that. Find a time that Charlie Kirk ever put out a hateful take. He hasn't. And he's got tons of takes. These are the lies that led to his death, folks. And Democrats are still trying to push this nonsense. And I think, look, people have had enough of this, all right? Enough. Konstantin Kisin saying something about this last night. This clip that he put out, this statement just struck home with me. Let me know if you agree. Watch.
Charlie Kirk, the CEO of Turning Point, was murdered yesterday while speaking on a college campus. He was 31 years old and a father of 2 young children. I didn't know Charlie. He was due to appear on Trigonometry very shortly. I hope I'm wrong, but last night felt like some sort of invisible line had been crossed that we didn't even know was there. The last time I felt like this was 24 years ago today, when it was clear on 9/11, without knowing the how and the what, that the world was about to change forever. Like the rules of the game had been permanently altered and there was simply no going back to the innocent, peaceful past. I didn't feel like this when an attempt was made on President Trump's life. If I had to rationalize why I didn't feel this way, I guess it's first of all because the attempt failed, and also because several US presidents had been shot at and even assassinated in the past. Somehow, no matter how awful it was still within the realms of the possible. But to murder a young father simply for doing debates and mobilizing young people to vote for a party that represents half of America, this is something else. Charlie's death is a tragedy for his wife, his children, and his family. I don't pray often. I prayed for them last night. But I fear his murder will be a tragedy for all of us in ways we will only understand as time unfolds. I hope I'm wrong. I fear I'm not.
That was deep. It's crazy, man. This whole situation is wild, bro. It's wild, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was at work yesterday and I was just like, it kind of blew my shit. Because I'm just like thinking like, bro, like, yo, bro, it's a wicked time in America, dog. It's wicked, bro. Trying to find this joint. Dang, I thought it was. Let me see. You know what? Wicked times, bro. But anyway, I'll try to find another time. But this is pretty much going to sum up everything about the Democratic Party right here, bro. This video is Sky News, Lefties Losing It, and she gonna Rita gonna break down just because, bro, listen, bro. There are good Democrats out there, right? Who don't think like these people do. And honestly, like for example, I'm gonna give you before I play this, right? I'm gonna play something real quick. I'm gonna play this. This is an example of people who have woke up and said, you know what? The Democratic Party isn't the party that I once was a part of, right? And mind you, this is for all you people who care about race and all of this shit, black people who care about race and all of this dumb shit. This is a black woman speaking.
At 18 to become one of the youngest delegates to the Democratic National Convention on behalf of my district. And in 2024, I was elected again to return to the DNC as a delegate. But this year, I'm casting my ballot for Donald Trump. You see, after I was elected in March, which was before Joe Biden's debate, I wanted to go to the DNC because I wanted answers on free speech issues, the border, and the economy. However, after reflecting on my time at the DNC, I realized that it was no longer the party of free speech and civil liberties that it used to be. In fact, Patrick Henry once said that the liberties of a people never were, nor ever will be secure when the transactions of their rulers may be concealed from them. And for the rulers of the Democratic Party elite to install Kamala Harris as the presidential nominee via stripping the vote of 14 million Americans, including their own delegates such as myself, well, that was a decision and a transaction that was concealed. And now I'm happy to say that I'm officially joining the Republican Party as a constitutional conservative.
Now, the one thing that you notice off the rip is that this is an educated black woman. This is a woman who was a part of the delegate. She is smart, witty. She's not a person who is just said that she's becoming a conservative off of emotion. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Tulsi Gabbard. These were people who were long-time Democrats who thought that the Democratic Party actually stood for something at one point, which it did. But now it's gotten to a point where they are literally the thing that they say Donald Trump is, bro. The projection is real. And they'll tell you that. They'll say, oh, they're trying to project, when that's exactly what they do on a regular basis. That's what they're good at. One of the things that they're good at. They're good at plenty of things, to be honest with you, bro. I'll give it to them. They're good. But anyway, let's get into this.
And tonight's edition of Lefties will
shout out to Rita, man.
feature some of the ugliness, some of the utter depravity that has followed the murder of Charlie Kirk, a thoroughly decent, principled man brutally murdered today, and the soulless ghouls of the left were quick to celebrate.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile-wide mouthpieces, Charles Chuckle Kirk.
And sadly, the vile left has not been shy about showcasing their ugliness, their utter callous depravity. This is what leftism does to your mind and soul.
Charlie Kirk got shot and killed. How do you feel?
Happy. Goodbye.
Wow. Did you see that Charlie Kirk just got shot and killed?
That's good.
Wow. That's good. That's good that people are getting shot just off a political view?
Charlie Kirk gets shot and killed today. We're just getting people's opinions. How do you feel about that?
Girl, someone had to do it. And that's how I feel at this point in time. But
Yeah, I appreciate your honesty. I truly do. So you said someone had to do it.
yes. Try not to get all pulled up into that, but he was a misogynist. He was a disgusting person with disgusting beliefs.
Enough of that trash. Let's look at how the media professionals covered this tragic event, this act of domestic terrorism. Here is MSNBC.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
Yeah, pretty sure we knew immediately it wasn't that. Charlie Kirk supporters don't go around shooting their guns in celebration like they're attending some wedding in Iraq. And of course, MSNBC had to engage in victim blaming by calling Charlie divisive.
Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast.
But that was just stupid. What I'm about to play you is straight out depraved, disgusting commentary. This is Matthew Dowd again on MSNBC, not long after Charlie was shot.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
That was so vile, so hateful and frankly deranged and dangerous that even MSNBC had to take some action, and they've sacked Matthew Dowd, but it's MSNBC. He may be back before the end of the month. And the asinine commentary wasn't restricted to commentators on MSNBC. Governors joined in. Here is the rotund governor of crime-riddled Illinois, blaming President Trump, the man Charlie Kirk worked tirelessly to re-elect. Governor Pritzker blames Donald Trump for fomenting political violence.
Political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states. And I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it.
Did that nincompoop...
Like, my thing is, what rhetoric? And you're right. And God is watching. And at the end of the day, we all gonna have to face that, unfortunately. And so you might get away with it. And all of these people might get away with this now here, but judgment, it's not too far away, man. But my whole thing is, what rhetoric? All he does is call them radical left lunatics. That's literally like Donald Trump's favorite line. The radical left lunatics. That's all he calls them. Meanwhile, on the other side, we're going to get into what they call him.
Really mentioned the Minnesota shooter, the trans-identified lunatic who shot children in a Catholic school and wanted to kill Donald Trump. Yeah, it's Trump who was almost killed by an assassin's bullet who is to blame for leftist violence, not these lefties losing it.
He insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Man, that was the joint I was talking about too. But like, bro, do you see this, bro? This is crazy.
This character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
Bro, look at this. Look at this bitch. Look at this stupid bitch. Like, what, bro? And they talk about Donald Trump's rhetoric. Look, she's holding a fucking so-called head of Donald Trump. Like, bro, like, what do you think that when people see this type of stuff, they are going to assume, yo, this dude must be the most dangerous man on the planet for everybody to be coming together, because that's what they do. I'll give it to them. They all come together and do dumb shit like this.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
President Donald Trump has called the murder of Charlie Kirk a dark moment for America.
Hey, yo, bro.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination.
We seen that right there.
Tragic humor and grace.
Of deadly political violence from the left, he called such acts, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk, as acts of domestic terrorism.
It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic one for
Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I've seen, sadly, a lot of that on social media. I don't think those people understand what they have unleashed. The anger, the sadness over this assassination is profound.
Yeah, I think you're right. And before I spit fire, and believe me that I will, let me take a step back and talk about Charlie for a moment and just some personal anecdotes. I considered him a friend. Even though we were a generation apart, he was somebody that if I had a question or some advice, I'd call them and reach out to him. And he's so generous with his time. The first time I met him, God, it was well over 10 years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. He was a teenager. He was just starting Turning Point. I think we met at a PragerU conference in California. And somebody introduced the two of us. So this is a guy you should know. His name was Charlie Kirk. He's a comer. And Charlie had been fundraising for Turning Point USA, right? It was the beginning of this organization. And in our conversation, he was talking about the people he's raising money from while he was there. And for anyone who knows who raises money, who has investors, you keep those things close to your vest, right? That's the lifeblood, the money that keeps and creates the organization you're creating. And he mentioned one of these billionaires that he raised some money from. And I just mentioned, just casually, that's a great guy to get money from. I've been trying to reach him for years. Not even asking for a favor. And he immediately said, here's the guy's cell phone number. Give him a call. I'm sure he's happy to help. Okay, that was the kind of guy Charlie Kirk was, okay? A friend to all. Yeah. a hater of no one. He criticized people, but he did not have hatred in his heart, which makes this even more difficult. Look, I have all types of friends, right? I have friends on the far right. I have friends on the far left. I have friends everywhere in between. And I got to tell you, Rita, I am scared to call some of my friends on the center left, never mind the far left, to talk about this. I'm afraid what they're going to say. Going over the social media, going over Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and listening to what people are saying, even on the mainstream media. I heard you talk about MSNBC over and over again. I think it's important to note the callousness in which they're covering this saddens me and scares me. And if a friend of mine said to me, "Oh, I'm so happy Charlie Kirk is dead," I don't know if I could talk to that person again. I got to be honest with you, Rita. It's just this one divide, and it's blaming it's so funny. It's the left blaming the victim, right? He deserved it, what he said. By the way, he wasn't an alt-right figure. He was a mainstream Republican, right? He believed in family values. He believed that if you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a man, if you're a man. He didn't have hate in his heart. He was about openness. He had a free speech roadshow, right, where he went to engage people on the left, not to demonize them or attack them, to find out what they thought. And this, I got to say this, we talked about the violence of the left over and over again. I hate it, but we keep talking about it because it's a recurring theme in our political landscape. And this is another example of that truth, that the political violence we've seen mostly, not exclusively, but mostly comes from the left. And we see on the right, what that actually is the exception that proves the rule, right? And I want to go back for a second to Louis Mangione, because I got to say, every time I think about Charlie's death, I think about Louis Mangione. That to me was really, and the pun is intended, the turning point to this. Because it was when he was murdered, this man who was a healthcare executive, he wasn't even a political figure, right? He didn't have, as far as I know, any political thoughts, certainly not publicly, right? He was a businessman who was murdered because he happened to be in an industry the left didn't like, okay? And the mainstream left, Vita, were talking about how wonderful it was and joked about the killing of this business executive. That, to me, was a significant change in our political culture.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. It's crazy, bro. But they say that he was this guy who was hateful, and you heard all of the stuff that they said. But this is just like a little small joint of Charlie Kirk.
Not about. No. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Like, look at the difference, and so he's obviously debating some leftist liberals or whatever the case may be, right? But this is like top Charlie Kirk debate moments, right? But just look at the difference in how they speak. Just let me know. Let me know where the hate is. Let me know where that is.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of how...
No, it's not. A table is an object.
Well, tell
a table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but right now I'm a man, right? So if that happened right now, I'd be a woman.
So
once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
got it. No,
they're a woman.
That's a separate issue. What is a woman?
Bruh, this is what's going on in America right now. This is what's happening to our children when they go off to college and they come back, and this is how they start acting. This is what they're being taught. They're being taught. Like, this guy right here was taught that if he wants to be a woman in 5 minutes, he could be a woman. And then 20 minutes later, he can go back to being a man. Like, you see videos of fathers having to check the bathrooms because men are in there in women's bathrooms. Like, can't even feel safe that your daughter is going into the bathroom.
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have how do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they. I can ask them if I want to know.
But there needs to be. You need to tell me what that thing is.
I want to see something though.
Somebody who. Okay, sorry, we're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere.
Well, no, it's important because it's like saying a giraffe is a thing that looks like a giraffe, or a coyote is a thing that looks like a coyote. It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't have to. I did give you a definition.
No. You said that a woman is something that thinks they're a woman. That doesn't give me a definition.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a registered voter.
I vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Than a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. Well, how am I? Sorry. Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No. Dude, like you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that like. You are. Oh, shit. Don't let him think. But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just...
No, it's not thousands, but we do have some frackers that give us money. But
and then all it is making the rich more rich.
Fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
So, but why are we evil? Like we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're calling me like a fascist.
Because it seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so. You don't even know my positions on this stuff. Under no circumstance ever should a man ever let a woman pay for a date, or you should split ever. No circumstance.
Even on the third, fourth, fifth.
What if it's a first date and you're just not into
it?
anything?
Okay, well let me.
Period.
Well let me. Okay, so
what kind of world are we living in?
Well, hold on a second. I agree with you. If I'm dating a girl, I would pay for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. However, I could see for other people that might be in a different financial position, you know, you pay for 10 dates and then she's like, you know what, I want to treat you.
Well, that's totally different. No, what we're talking about is like, oh, we're going to alternate. Like, well, what's your serious? And she wants to take you out to something for a nice dinner. And you might, by the way, if you have the intent to marry, you're already like kind of blending finances. Like, I get that psychologically. But like, if you're like, oh, we'll take turns. Like, oh, well, you know, you pay this time, I pay this time.
What's your advice to a girl who the guy she's currently seeing, he says that?
Oh, do not marry that man.
But here's the thing. I feel like they should always
break
offer.
Great.
But they should offer. They should pull out the credit card.
The woman? Of course not.
Just to offer.
No.
It's a nice gesture.
No. By the way, no. This is feminism. Feminism is that you have to be this like self-independent. This is not a nice gesture. It's you trying to be like egalitarian. No. You as women should want to be provided for. In fact, you should have an expectation that you as a woman are so important and so critical and so necessary and beautiful that it shouldn't even be a question.
This is the fascist. This is the fascist, the Nazi. This is the guy that they're talking about, man. Charlie Kirk. You know, he's so bad for the people. He spews hate speech. He's telling men to be men. He's telling women to have expectations for your man to provide for you. Like,
You view democracy as an American value, something that's very important to the fabric of this country?
No. Where is democracy in the U.S. Constitution?
Oh, okay. So
No, hold on. Where is the word democracy?
I don't think the word democracy is in the Constitution.
So where is the word democracy in any of the founding fathers?
A lot of the founding fathers had extremely elitist viewpoints around who should...
Hold on. I just want to... You said the word democracy, so I want to get back to our roots.
Yes.
Where is democracy mentioned? In the Federalist Papers, the Constitution, or the Declaration?
I think it's good that this country has moved away from things that were explicitly firmly believed by the founding
in the Federalist
fathers.
Papers, and it's mentioned negatively as a problem. So you ask me, is democracy a fundamental American value? I say no.
Okay.
Because I go back to our roots. And Hamilton, Madison, and Jay.
Oh, I know that
spoke-
Hamilton was anti-democracy.
No, no, well, hold on,
these
let me
people thought
finish.
that people should be
But
owned as
I want to be
property.
clear. I am pro-representative government.
Okay.
But I'm not pro-democracy. That's a big difference, and that distinction's important. But you asked very specifically about democracy, which is
Okay.
not an American value. It never has been and never should be. Because what is democracy? Democracy is majority rule no matter what. That there's no provisions of checks and balances, no inalienable rights, no separation of powers, pure if the majority gets it, the majority wants it as quickly as possible.
I don't advocate pure democracy. I do understand that we live in a
Cool.
representative, like we live
Got
in a
it. So
republic,
I
and
believe
I
in
understand these things.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
You're targeting a minority group. You're targeting trans people
Got it.
specifically.
What is a woman?
What is it? That's a stupid ass question, dude. That's a dumb ass question.
What is a woman, college student?
What is a woman? Oh, you're talking to a college student instead of like, I don't know, someone who has media training?
They can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Someone who identifies as a woman.
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. It's like saying, what is the sun? The sun is something that looks like the sun. What is...
Like, does it sound like he hates any of them? He's smiling. This was I watched plenty of these debates. They cool. It's just, it's good to watch stuff like this just to see how people think. You know what I mean? But like, does he sound like he's laughing with them? He's just asking a simple question. And you notice, like if you notice, you'll have some like the girl that was on before. She understood where he was coming from. It ain't. It's in the Pledge of Allegiance is, what is it? It says, man, it's been so long. I pledge allegiance to the United States. To the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. So we live in a republic, but they scream democracy, democracy, democracy. So people think that we live in a democracy, and we don't. And people use that a lot, the left uses that a lot, and all of them, the right does too. But at the end of the day, this is why I like Charlie Kirk though, and plenty of people, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, he just was having regular conversations with people, just trying to make them realize, like, bro, what you're saying, your belief system, it doesn't make sense, and I'm just trying to get you to understand that. Now, whether you want to accept that or not, that's totally your choice. You have the freedom to, if you want to be a cat, be a cat. If you want to be a woman, be a woman. Like, that's your choice. But I'm here to have open conversations with people. He making content. He making money. And where's this thing? Like, it's so funny because everybody, if given the chance to be a millionaire, billionaire, would be one. All of these people, I never seen nothing like it, where now you're targeted for being successful. So if you're successful, you're a bad person? You're trying to make the rich, the poor. Bro, then what about Nancy Pelosi? What about Bernie Sanders? What about Elizabeth Warren? What about them? They all have millions of dollars. And they only make $170,000 a year, $200,000 a year. But they all have millions of dollars. Where are they getting all that money? These are people that you're mad at Donald Trump. At least they'll say, oh, well, he was given money from his dad. So what? He took that money and made a fortune. They criticize Elon Musk. He made a fortune. These are smart dudes. Charlie Kirk, smart, intelligent. This is a dude that dropped out of college and created a multi-million-dollar company. These are people who innovated. These are people who created, have employees. People depended on Charlie Kirk and work for Charlie Kirk. Same thing with Donald Trump. People depended on these people. Elon Musk. They employed people. Name one person Kamala Harris employed. Name one person that Nancy Pelosi employed. I'm talking about starting a business and out the mud, starting a business, even if it ain't out the mud, even if you had a trust or whatever, starting a business, creating a multi-million-dollar business, and, creating jobs for other people, innovating, anything. Most of these people never created, never employed, never built anything, but are mad and talking about Donald Trump doesn't know shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know how to run the economy. This is a dude that's been in business for decades. For decades. It's crazy, bro.
A woman.
It's a social role as a woman.
No, you can't answer the question. Define the woman without saying woman. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Look at the little girl.
What's your name?
Dakota.
Nice to meet you, Dakota. How
That's
old are you?
dope.
I'm 11.
Amazing. Give it up for Dakota being here today.
That's dope.
So, I'm pro-life. I'm a fiscal conservative. And I know I want to get into politics when I grow up. I don't want to get into massive debt for a political science degree. What concrete steps can I take now in order to achieve the goal of doing...
Yo, bro. Yo. Bro, you see her? Yo, smart as shit. She said, I don't want to get into massive debt, man. So what concrete steps can I take to get... Yo, bro, that's fire, bro. That's fire, bro. Shout out to her parents, bro. Shout out to her parents, bro.
My part to make America great again.
That's fire.
Great. You should go to Hillsdale College, America's greatest college, and start studying now. Start taking classes, reading books. You have to be in charge of your own education, and the fact you're thinking like this at 11 is a great sign. God bless you, and the future is very bright. Thank you. Do you want a hat?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's fire.
What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately, but...
Okay, hello, nice to meet you. None of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan...
What do you mean? Yo, bro. This is a future... Never mind, I ain't even want to say it, man.
To go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave.
That's a fact.
That's how you know you live in a great country.
That's a fact, man. Man, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, man, for real. That shit crazy, dog. You know, like I'm a fan of Charlie Kirk. It's just crazy. Like that's my whole thing. That's why I'm speaking on it. And, everybody is speaking on it, bro. Literally, bro, I tried to find this video. That I wanted to show, but maybe I'll show it tomorrow. But literally everything that I put in the search bar, Charlie Kirk popped up, bro. No cap. And I'm talking about, I didn't even mention Charlie Kirk. I didn't, say anything about assassination. None of this that's going on. Every time I press search, Charlie Kirk popped up, bro. He got the internet going crazy. Donald Trump was not lying when he said that this is going to make his voice louder. Real shit. And everybody's talking about it, bro. So, it's just wild, bro. It's crazy, man. We're really living in crazy times, bro. The fact, just all of this shit with just everything, dog. It's crazy. I just can't believe that we come to a point where people are literally... men are playing in women's sports, bro. You see that volleyball dude? The girl? He hit the ball so hard. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she can no longer play volleyball, bro. This is what happens when you got radical left lunatics in office, bro. Sheesh. We got to wake up, people. Listen, man. listen, man. Just understand. American citizens aren't the enemy, bruh. Let me just say that. Not the enemy, bruh. Whether you Democrat, Republican, Independent, Conservative, Liberal, far to the left, far to the right, center, none of that shit matters. We ain't the enemy. We ain't the real enemies, bruh. But they're making us enemies. They're making us hate each other, right? Whether you're black and white, you know, they listen, all of these things, right? Every single one of these topics, every one of them, from racism, from trans whatever, from hate speech, freedom, all of these different subjects that's going on, you know, across social media and the internet, and period. All of it is just learnt behavior. None of these people grew up coming out the womb having these belief systems that they have today. Nobody, conservatives and liberals. Nobody. Everything was learned and taught. So the whole thing of it is but there is things that are subjective. And you got right and you got wrong. Just what it is. You got what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, bro. So what side are you on? Are you on a side where it just doesn't make sense when you get asked the question of what is a woman, and you're like, a woman is, if I feel like a woman, I can be woman. Are you on that side, or are you just on the side of, because there is also gay and trans people who aren't even with none of that, where they're like, listen, I'm this, but I'm not with, teaching this to the children. Or, I understand that, that, okay, I am a man that's dressing like a woman, but still overall, I still know I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? But I still want to be a trans. Gay, lesbian, gay, whatever. These people understand that, yeah, I'm gay, but I'm still a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my whole thing is like, you just got reality, and then you got just out of this world. Just shit that just doesn't make sense, bro. 1 + 1 is 2. And they're trying to tell you that 1 + 1 is 9, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense, bro. And we got to do better, people. But, like, my thing is, like, thinking about all of this, I see it's about to be ugly out here, bro. Especially with, Trump going into these other states, and it's just like every single Democrat, period, just has to go against Donald Trump. Nobody is trying to work with him. Nobody is trying to come together and say, you know what, man, let's just make America great again. Let's make America great, period. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, no matter what, we got to make him look bad, and we're not agreeing, we're not working with them, and that's just it. And honestly, that's the sad part, bro. I'm just being honest, bro. And this goes for both sides. Like, once somebody becomes the president, once they win that election, after that, it shouldn't be no, you lost. It is what it is. Until next time, this is the president, and we all have to work together for the common good. But listen, not everybody wants good for us, bro. And that's what it all boils down to, bro. These politicians get in office to run your city, your local county, your state, the nation. Not everybody has our best interests, bro. You know And it just is what it is. A lot of these people are in these positions to just take advantage, become rich, you know? And it's a lot of wicked shit going on, bro. It's a lot of wicked shit going on. I don't see it getting better right now, man, but I got hope, man. I got hope. But yeah, man, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, man. I can't imagine, man. I can't imagine his kids, bro. My wife was like, she was like sick yesterday, man, like all day. And I could just, and the thing is, I know she was sick about the situation, but I also know that she knows the things that I talk about is similar to things that Charlie Kirk talks about. No, maybe not to like, you know, specifically to that degree, but you know, I am a conservative though. You know, my wife is a stay-at-home mom. I take care of everything. Like, you know, that's my position. So when Charlie Kirk was talking about men paying for everything and all of that, like, I've been doing that. I was raised that way. My dad does that. You know, I was just raised that way. So, like I said, I was taught that. So that was regular for me. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a problem for me to do it. You know? But, yeah, man. That's crazy. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, man. This your boy SL 550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast, man. Until next time, man. Your boy out, man. Hey, listen, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's going up, and I truly do appreciate for everybody for tapping in with me. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. It's going up, man. You know, and I'm fucking with it. You know, let's keep the conversation going, but most importantly, let's keep it peaceful. All of this hate shit is weak. It's negative energy. It ain't going to get nobody nowhere. It's either somebody going to be in the grave, somebody going to be in jail, or two people in the grave. It's just, what's the benefit in that? You know what I'm saying? We can have differences of opinions and still get the same outcome, you know, or get better ones. So we got to do better, people, man. We're in a tough time right now, and I don't think the answer is violence and just goofy shit, bro. But till next time, man, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.